Well, good morning. This is Hiro again. What I'm going to do is to prune this. And the point I want to make is don't let it get like this. Okay, well, this one should have been pruned early in the year, but now it's tail end of September. And the pruning technique that I have to use for this has to be moderate. Because if I had done this when I should have, which would be in the spring, March, April, somewhere in that, I could have cut it very severely and it would have plenty of time to come back. But now we're getting into the cold so that it will not grow back. So the pruning technique that I will use on this today will be moderate. And so let's get started on this. Start with the real obvious one. This one here should have never been let go like that. So we'll cut these really long ones, right? All these see how long? That's just called neglect. Here's another one of the real obvious ones. Just cut it back. Look at another one like that. That's what happens if you let it go for half a season. Backside, and look how many just took off. So, even just taking care of that actually starts to make an improvement. So I'll just go through this whole thing and cut off all those and show you what. Okay, just doing that alone, I took off that much. So if I had done this a little sooner, it would look even better. That was the first round of rough pruning, and now we're going to start to go into more detailed pruning so that we want to keep a lot of foliage this time of the year, but we want to be able to see parts of the trunk. Some people go through the trouble of taking everything off to show the trunk, and to me that seems artificial. So I'm going to show you how I tend to do my trees. So you want to always show glimpses of the trunk, but you don't have to see the stark, just the trunk, because you have to keep it natural. On this round, what I did was I switched the pruners. This one gets me really tight, and you also see that I'm wearing glasses. I can see a little bit better because it's now more critical that I don't over prune. And so when I get done, I want it to look fairly full, but see parts of the trunk. Okay, so this is that going into the winter technique rather than in the early spring. So keep that in mind always. You gotta change your pruning style depending on what you're trying to accomplish. Actually, quite a bit, probably about a third. And I'm going to stop here. Now, next spring, I'll thin it out much more, and probably there's extra branches in there that needs to come out. But you know what happens here at the nursery? I have a lot of deciduous, right? Ginkgo, maples, and all that. They all lose their leaves. So to make it a little more palatable, I guess is the word, I like to have my evergreens with more foliage during the winter months than I would in the spring. So in the springtime, what I plan to do is probably take off another 50% of this existing needles or foliage, and then actually what I'm going to do is to put this in a nicer ceramic pot. I think this is getting to the point where I think it should be in a nicer pot than this training mica pot that I have it in. So Anyway, like I said, this is a technique that you will probably want to use for going into the fall and winter. So that's what I did. I got it ready so that it's presentable, but not so extremely pruned back that it will look kind of sad through the winter months. So anyway, this is Hiro saying goodbye. See you again in another chapter real soon. So please tell your friends and subscribe.